Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I will tell you one thing that is bad to do on streaming nights, and that is start watching a documentary and get engrossed in the thrilling topic. So, I finally am live. I'm glad you all stuck around. I have a poll in the chat that has no context. The poll is open until we get through a few formalities. I hope that doesn't give the context away. Let's see here, possibly voting in, or at least participating in the chat. We have Jack68K. Hi, Jack. Thomas Armstrong. Hi, Thomas. We have Joe's Computer Museum, reminding me, along with Jack, that I am late. Yes, I was watching a documentary on electrification of the Edwardian home, and I have no idea how we survived the Edwardian time period. Yeah. Let's just say that not every electrical invention was safe for a computer. All right, let's see here. Moving on in the chat, we have Gutbomb. Hi, Jason. We have Thomas is asking, how's the weather out on the East Coast? Little rain this morning, but it just rain. They weren't calling for rain, but we got rain. Of course, I'm far enough away from the coast that I probably wouldn't see any effects with the hurricane that far out. See here, Joe's asking, have we reached Mega Late yet? That would be 15 minutes, I believe. That Thomas says no Mega ST yet. Jack's saying it's typical late. Yeah. I wish I could, like, join the chat from my phone before I go live, but YouTube does not let you chat from the phone before you go live, which would have required me to spend even more time to log into a computer, to go to the control center, to go to the chat, to warn you that, oh, oops, I got caught up in a documentary, I'm coming downstairs right now. At least I'd already powered my computer on while I was gathering trash. Let's see here. Thomas says maybe it's time for 6502 based GPS. Joe says, funny, I'm programming 125 pico units tonight. I'm going to hear the Windows new hardware detected sound in my sleep. Yes. And now I am too. Jack says, stupid Windows and its stupid noises that it needs to stupid make to tell you it did a thing that it thinks was smart. Yeah, play the noise when you don't successfully connect to the USB device, because I expect the USB device to connect. But I think PCMCIA ruined it for us all, because it started playing noises when it detected the card, and Microsoft said, hold my overcaffeinated coffee. Jack says, lol, end rant, sorry, Windows made me crabby today. Yeah, I had to restart my work computer too, because it kept pestering me, so, yeah. I was probably a little annoyed with Windows at some point this morning too. Gutbomb says, Mac doesn't have a noise, but it does have a text-to-speech command on the terminal, so I made my mass pico flashing script say the word next when it flashes each pico. That's a good idea. Let's see, Joe's asking which will happen first. My finishing the last 25 picos or Justin starting the stream, and I think Jack says, I think you'll flash 25 picos before the first box is opened. All right. Gupbom's asking if I forgot to go live. No. I went live as soon as I came down here. Yes, Joe, I have forgotten to go live before. A couple of times. Gupbom is correct. Let's see here. Jack says, I don't think I was there for that one. Let's see here. Jack says, maybe the dinosaur became deflated. Hey, I remember to inflate the dinosaur, too. Let's see here. Joe says he beat me. Who won the jackpot? We have Sadmac356. Eep. Hi, Sadmac. And let's see here. Gupbom is asking which... Oh, which one? It was a documentary on the Edwardian it was one YouTube recommended to me because it knew how to appeal to my interests in history. Darn you, YouTube! I'll put it in the chat if anyone's interested. I mean, it seems to be a decently well-made documentary. Thomas Armstrong says it was the G4 documentary. Gupbom says, one of my favorite YouTube channels, Homemade Documentaries, released a new one today. If you like space, that channel is a pro click. Best space documentaries around PBS quality easily. Let's see. Oh, we have Socket Wrench. Hi, Socket Wrench. Welcome. All right. So it does appear as if... All right. It is now time for a very important part of the stream. Other than my announcement that there's a coffee goal in the description. Coffee goal. Links in the description. All right. Now we got to get to a very important segment. Poll closes as soon as the animation ends.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
All right, and let's see here. My no context poll. Teal was the winner with 80%, brown with 20%, and no one voted for pink or white. Now, of course, you're probably wondering what the no context poll was about, but the animation should have probably given it away. That was the colors of the 4 items that I have for today's Wheel of Regrets. And since Teal won the poll, I will open Teal first, followed by the brown package, and then it's dealer's choice, since no one voted for the other two. So, this first package, which comes to us in this absolutely wonderful teal bubble envelope, comes to us from an eBay seller in Indiana. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Indiana. And let's see here. Well, actually, I think there might be a little hole in the side of the package. All right, where did I... Oh, there it is. I have to say, I cannot... Jack says, I protest, I voted for pink, but it says 0%. Okay, well, I'll open the pink. Alright. Well, actually, since I have 2 people saying they voted for pink and their vote wasn't tallied, I will open the pink one before the brown one. Now, the poll truly is closed, because I am opening the package. And Thomas is guessing teal video cards. Jack says, Neapolitan ice cream colored packages. Yeah, I think I might even have them in a proper order. Also, if your Neapolitan ice cream is this color, then you should probably not eat it. And if you stored your Neapolitan ice cream beside shrimp from Walmart that's subject to the recall and it's turned this color, then you definitely shouldn't eat it. All right, and in the teal package, we have Super Mario World, and not the greatest of condition, but it is in a condition called it physically exists. All right. I don't quite remember the description the seller gave on this cartridge. I don't want to necessarily give it away why I don't remember just yet, but this does feel like a legitimate Super Nintendo cartridge. Jack's asking, the pink one is going to be more Game Boy battery covers, isn't it? Tadmac says, ooh, Mario. Jack says, fun. Quote, not tested. Thomas Armstrong's guessing Yoshi. Well, we might as well just go ahead and open up this pink one, which comes to us from an eBay seller in Michigan. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Michigan. As is evidenced by the pink envelope, I'm hoping you realize it's not the usual seller in Michigan. Jack says, maybe I don't have to buy things on eBay anymore because I can live vicariously through Justin. Nice try, Jack. I saw what you typed. Hey, oh, yeah, Jack says Vic 20 Nano. Yeah, that's what I saw come up in the chat. Vic 20 Nano. Because Gupom's asking if that's a Vic 20. Yeah, oh, yeah, there was a typo. Oh, I think I knew what you meant, even if there was a typo. And in the pink envelope, we have Super Mario All-Stars. Also for the Super Nintendo, and the label's not the greatest there either. Now, the reason why I don't remember what the eBay seller said on this one is because I don't remember what the eBay seller said on this one particularly. One of these works and the other does not. And I kind of think Super Mario World might be the broken one because it's rattling. Just saying. Yeah. Mega says, 2 halves of the All-Stars plus World release. Yes, hi Mega. And hi Any Bit Fever Dreams. Well, actually, I think they released these separately and then made a combo release. So, I did something silly by... I think I bought this one first. And then someone told me about Super Mario All-Stars. And then I went to go search for this and I realized there was a combo cartridge I'd ignored the entire time, which would have saved me money. So I bought the single cartridge anyways. We'll probably test these momentarily. I'd like to clear the bench off and then I'll go grab a SNES. And this is assuming I can find the TV because I haven't bought an AV cable for the SNES yet. So we'll have to actually plug it into a TV. All right. I think the one that was next on the voting was the brown package. This comes to us from a seller in Maine. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Maine. Mega says All-Stars plus World has the yellow label. Capcom says I voted brown, of course. Oh. New England. That is a complete coincidence. All right. Retrofox. Hi, Retrofox. Welcome. Retrofox says, if you have an N64 or GameCube, same AV cable for those as SNES. Well, I do have an N64 without an AV cable. And I have a component video cable that might work on GameCube. But I don't think the SNES or the N64 do component video. Correct me if I'm wrong. Excellent. They used Amazon packaging with their or someone's address on it. So now I have to be extra careful to not show that either. All right. Retrofox says, no, they don't without some modification. Well, yep, that's why I don't have an AV. I keep forgetting to order the AV cable, which is kind of embarrassing because Capcom says if it's the Nintendo branded component cable, those are worth some coin. No, it's a component video cable that is from probably someone like Mad Catz or one of those other parties, and it actually has ends on it for the PlayStation 2 and like 2 other consoles. And I am presuming those other consoles are Xbox of some variant and N64 or GameCube. Actually, probably GameCube. However, since the cable came with something, I never saw the package to know what the other plugs go to, but I know it's a component. I mean, I could go walk upstairs and make sure there's not a composite lead hanging off of it, but maybe I will since I've got some SNES games. But anyways, yes, this next item is a PowerMac VRAM card. Ooh, look at this. And now you're probably wondering what in the world I need yet another one of these VRAM cards for. And I will tell you why. It's because I'm going to take the VRAM sims off of it and then probably sell the VRAM card without sims on it. Retrofox says, usually it's PS2, Xbox, GameCube, or it could be Dreamcast. No, there was no Trident for PowerMac. No, this goes in the 6100, 7100, 8100. Although I believe this is the version of the card that would have been for the 7100, 8100. Because it has 2 megabytes of VRAM on board. And takes 4 512K VRAM sims to give you a total of 4 megabytes. Don't let the chips fool you. It still uses the onboard video. This just lets the onboard video use dedicated VRAM instead of system RAM. And it also lets you plug in a standard monitor instead of one of those HDI 45 monstrosities. Any Bit Fever Dream says, Trident for Apple II Cursed Edition. Yeah, if someone in the community invents a Trident card for the Apple II series, I'm running away. Very much away. Anyways, I totally bought this for the VRAM sims. I will admit it. And it does look like this is the version of the card I thought it was, because it has... Yep, those are 256s. So, yep, that is 2 megabytes of VRAM on board and 512K VRAM sims. Michael says, Trident for Apple I End of World Edition. Alright, and finally, the last Wheel of Regrets entry tonight comes to us from Florida. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Florida. or as some people might jokingly say, Florida, although I think that might also be the name of a particular artist. So maybe I'll just continue saying Florida so that I don't get sued by, like, Universal Music Group or someone like that. Sad Max says, I wonder if that would explain the screaming I'd hear. And we have a power adapter for my N64. Yay! Although that feels like the absolute thinnest cable in the world. Then again, I guess the N64 doesn't draw much power, but I don't know why Nintendo thought it would be a great idea to make an external power supply like this, but they did. But this does appear to be an actual Nintendo power supply, and not a third-party one. Oh, I guess I do see it does supply 2 voltages, so... Oh, wait a minute. This is weird. So... Did I do a dumb? Did I really... I think I've done a dumb here. I now know why the power cable feels so thin and flimsy. Because this isn't a US market power adapter. Oh, wait a minute. No? The eBay seller... Well, the eBay seller took pictures of a US one. But they sent me a Japanese one. I offer free shipping and free returns. Item is tested. Well, that's very nice, seller, but this is the Japanese market version of the power adapter. Yes, Jack says, fun fact, Japan uses both 50 Hz and 60 Hz AC. Yes, fun fact, Japan is also 100 volts AC, not 120 volts nominal AC, so I would technically be overvolting it if I used it. Joe says, boop. Gutbomb says, it will work here, it will just get warm. Or it should. Well, no, Retrofox, I did not intentionally buy a Japanese one. I will show you the listing from the seller. Well, let's see here. How about we will click that. There we go. Now we are in gallery mode. So now I can share my screen. And there is the photo they posted of the power supply. And as you can see, that is a model NUS 002 USA. Made in Japan. Input AC 120 volts. 26 watt, 60 hertz. And, well, if we go back to table cam, as soon as I can find my mouse cursor, we will see that this is NUS 002 JPN. Yeah, that Jack says, I watched a lengthy video on why Japan's electrical standards are so good that they don't need grounded plugs. Socket Wrench is asking, I wonder if it can be modded for US. Well, I don't know if it can be modded for US. Yeah, Oh, hi, GeoHam. GeoHam says, pictured item, not what you received. Contact seller for correct adapter. Yeah, I'm going to contact the seller and let them know that their auction photos were of the US version of the power adapter, and that I received the Japanese version of the power adapter, and that there is a input voltage difference of the two, or I might just return it. Thomas Armstrong says, many of Japanese can input 90 volts to 277 volts, but that is not what this says. This says AC 100 volts. If this said AC 100 to 270, or like 90 to 277 on the bottom, I would not be concerned. Because then I would know it was a full world power adapter. I think it's switching. I think it's a switching supply. I mean, we can probably open it up without the seller knowing. Assuming I can find my Nintendo security bits. Well, maybe it will work, but I don't generally like plugging things in that are not labeled for our voltage. Jack's asking asking Thomas what aspect of the design would make it rated for 120 volts versus 100 volts. Yeah, I'm not gonna open it. I'll just return it. I'll get what I paid for, or I'll get what I need, which is a US power adapter. Thomas says the transformer would just put out lower voltage. Actually, Actually, if I plugged in a Japanese power adapter in the US, wouldn't the transformer put out a higher voltage? Alright, I know I have a set around here that has to have a game bit adapter. It will just first take me a moment to find the symbol for the game bit adapter. Well, it is obviously not that one. Is it that one? No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Is that the game bit adapter? There we go. There's the game bit adapter. I knew this set had to have one. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if the seller just put them all in a pile. Yes, I find that putting security screws on something like this as ridiculous. It's not like they it's not like that was going to prevent someone from getting in. I mean, they had to have known it was only going to delay someone from getting in until someone made a bit for it. Which I'm fairly sure probably happened fairly soon after they released these cartridges. Alright, so this cartridge looks like it's in decent shape. There's one okay, so I'll have to replace a battery on this cartridge. That's what I figured. In fact, I figured they both have cartridges. But, alright. It looks good. And... Alright, I'll leave it open until I remember which is which. Alright, we'll open this one. Richard Fox says, possibly they just have a pile and didn't even notice. Why would you really? Yeah. I'll return it, and I'll put the reason is the auction photos were for a USA power adapter, and you sent me a Japanese market one. Input power of the two regions differs. And alright, it looks like this one is also in good shape. I guess maybe, since I don't know which one is the defective one and which one is not, I'll probably just clean the contacts of both. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's SRAM. Okay, that's going to be the SRAM for saving games. Of course. And then this one, of course, also has SRAM. Ooh, it's got 64K of SRAM, not just 16. Nice. Yeah, the battery is probably dead in both. One of these, the seller said the game would not run, and they suspected it was because of a dead battery. Which I kind of was not thinking a dead battery would cause the game not to run. I was thinking the more likely the cause is the contacts are dirty. I was going to measure the batteries. Don't worry. I wasn't going to take my assumption. Oh, wow. The cartridge on the left has 3 volts left on the battery. That is amazing. The cartridge on the right has 3 volts on the battery. Well, I guess I don't need to replace the batteries just yet. Of course, now I have possibly started to mix the two cartridges up, so it might be a slightly embarrassing game launch. And I still should probably go upstairs and see if I have a game cartridge adapter. Alright, while I deoxit that card edge connector, because that isn't a socket, I will go ahead and remind everyone that if you are in the DC area, there is a swap meet Sunday afternoon from 1:30 to 6 at the Dulles Community and Rec Center in South Riding, Virginia. I've put a post on Tinker Different with more details. It's in the events section. And I will be there. I've got stuff to sell. And maybe while I'm there, I'll find someone selling an N64 power adapter. Or maybe a AV cable so that I don't have to wait for eBay shipping. Because who has time for that sometimes? Actually, I don't know how well it's coming across on camera, but that one side of the card edge connector looked kind of grubby. So maybe this was the cartridge that wouldn't work, and I'm wondering if maybe it was just needed a cleaning. Yeah. Oh, hi, Retro Tech Chris. Welcome. Yep. Chris says it's the chat just floated off the screen, but Chris posted where it is. Someone beats me to it. You can put a link in the chat for the Tinker Different thread. Since not everyone has Facebook, and Facebook sometimes login walls the posts, especially if they think they can get a login out of you. But the Tinker Different thread should be visible even if you don't have a Tinker Different account. Yeah, I got this deoxit off of Amazon. It wasn't cheap for the bottle because this is the 100%. But it doesn't get everywhere, and it works great. In fact, I probably waste less because I can just drizzle a little bit on the contacts and... Okay, I think this is the cartridge that they said it didn't work. Because I think Super Mario World is the one I bought first, and I'm pretty sure I bought the non-working one allegedly first. Yeah, I could put a drip on the Q-tip, but I really wanted to deoxit that card edge connector. Hi, Hardware Hacker, welcome. We are still in Wheel of Regrets. And I cleaned the card edge in this cartridge. The seller said it didn't work. They thought it was the battery. The battery still has a charge, so it's probably not the battery. So I'm hoping it was the card edge connector. If that's not it, I'll have to queue it up for a repair stream. But because I was working under the theory, why buy one when you can buy two at twice the price? Actually, I just happen to like Mario games. I bought a second one, so at least maybe I would hedge bets and have one working SNES cartridge. This has been quite a while since I've played the SNES. I don't know that it necessarily gets all the love of some of the other consoles. Seems like a lot of time it gets skipped over for the N64. Retrofox says, I can count on one hand in my entire life the number of carts I've come across that don't work. Usually a cleaning has always worked. Yeah. I think I have, of all the cartridges I can remember, I have a Pac-Man cartridge that for the Atari 400, 800 that didn't work, that I bought on eBay. Or not, oh yeah, actually I think it came with the system, but I bought the system on eBay, so that still counts. I made a replacement PCB to put in the cartridge. I know for the Yamaha music computer, I have a cartridge, a fairly uncommon cartridge that doesn't work, but it had a NiCad battery in it. Because it has SRAM, it had a NiCad battery and it leaked. So someday I got to try to resurrect the circuit that I don't know what it should look like because the traces are gone, and I think there's missing components too, so that will be fun. I don't worry, I have neutralized it's been a while since I bought the cartridge, but I have neutralized the battery acid, and but the cartridge doesn't work. So there may also be a problem with the ROM, because I think I tried putting it in the computer to see if it would work, even though the battery wasn't connected. So there's still a problem with it, even before we get to the point of you can't save anything because the battery circuit is, like, parts of it are missing. Oh, no, I don't have Star Fox for the SNES. Yet. Some of those games go for crazy money, and I'm not trying to collect these games. I like to play them. Retrofox says Star Fox is the best game. Yeah, I may just have to get a SNES Mini to play Star Fox. Oh, Mega was just mentioning the leaky cap inside the Star Fox cartridge. Oh, I missed some chat because I was edge cleaning. All right, so all right, I'm going to go run upstairs really quick to see if that AV cable has composite video signals on it, and if it looks like it has a SNES output. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Yeah, I'm about to go run upstairs to look for something. I'm kind of thinking that there's not composite video on it, so instead I'll just have to go grab a CRT TV. Oh, Retrofox says, it's okay, you can walk, we will wait. All right, so I will be right back. I'm going to go upstairs and look for a cable, and whether or not I find the cable, the SNES is going to come on the bench so we can test these games. And while I was upstairs, I remembered that I have a flat panel TV that I bought back in March. It has an AV input on it. I paid all of, I think it was $10. I think I removed the price tag that was on the top of it. I bought it back in March because I was looking for TVs for possibly needing some to take to VCF East. And this thrift shop I was at had 2 TVs. Or a TV and a monitor. I think the monitor was priced at $5. And apparently I showed up the right day that it got a small discount. Like 10% off. And then, of course, this TV that did not get 10% off. Because I think that 10% off was computer accessories and not televisions. Jack was asking, was that music composed for you? Or was it free YouTube library content? I believe that was free YouTube content. In fact, I think I forgot that I put music on the be right back screen. So it better be free YouTube content, or this stream might not be available in the morning. It's probably free YouTube content. Alright, so I have... So the reason why I brought this TV downstairs is I only have the RF adapter for this SNES. And this TV was made in October of 2004, so I believe it should have an RF input that is analog. Alright, I will have to use Droid Cam here. I can't see the chat because the TV is in the way. Mike says I need to add some hold music on my IP office, via IP office here at the house. Alright. Let me see here. Turn on Droid Cam. Alright, flicker warning. So, we are on channel 3. I believe the SNES is on channel 3. We will start with Super Mario All-Stars, because I believe that's the one that was listed as working. So, we are going to turn the SNES on. And that is a very good sign. That is weird right there. That's a weird graphical glitch, but whatever. Oh, very nice. Oh, look at that. We could pry into where someone was on one of their games. Okay, that is very, very weird. I mean, we've got music. Oh, no. I can't play one-handed is probably evidenced by the All right, so the chat is saying that Mega's asking, is this the first game you've tried on this SNES? Yes, it is. Capcom says, I doubt it's the console. It's probably connections with the cart. This is the first one I've tried. Guess we can, um... that still doesn't look right. Let's try the other game. Um... I'm gonna say that it shouldn't look like that. Okay, so, hmm. So the good news is both of my SNES cartridges work. Although this one doesn't quite fit in the slot as nice as the other one. But, Capcom says, clean the cart socket thoroughly. I can spray some contact cleaner down in there. But that looks really good, and I highly doubt... Mega says it seems to be only affecting backgrounds. That's the thing. Alright, I will spray some contact cleaner in there. I really doubt it's going to fix it, though, because it seems to be only affecting, like, overlays and backgrounds. Alright, so I just sprayed contact cleaner down in the slot. I know you couldn't see it, but... I don't have another SNES. This is my one SNES. I have one. Jack says one for now. Chris says, I have one here if you want to try things out this weekend. Yeah, I'll... Jack says, pretty soon Justin will have VIC-20 mini SNESs. Yeah, I'll try to remember to bring the cartridges, because then at least I can rule out that it's the cartridge. Anyways, I normally only give regret scores to eBay purchases. But it does appear as if both of these games are working, so they're not a regret. But, I'm going to have to give a thrift shop regret score to my SNES. Alright. That's probably enough of, now you... Yeah. Okay, that's enough of me, Probably overpaid for it. Chris says, well, they say tested, not that it passed. Yeah, you are right, Chris. They did say tested. They did not say that it passed. I mean, the controller appears to work. The RF adapter appears to work. Michael says, it tested their patience. Yeah, that's a good one. Hardware Hacker says, it turned on. Okay, shut it off. Yeah. Jack says, is SNES too new to defer judgment of regret until after attempted repairs? Socket Wrench says it's weird that it's only the background layer. Well, that probably means it's the PPU. Well, the problem is, if it's the PPU, then this is a parts machine. So, I mean, I think I can give it a regret score before I try to fix it. Because the thing is, the only way to fix it is to take a PPU from another SNES. And I'm not really aware of many things that happen to SNESs that would render the PPU unless I got one where the PPU's fine and the CPU's defective. Gupbomb says cap leakage. We'll open it up and we'll take a look, because Gupbomb says cap leakage can damage stuff. Yeah, I know. But the PPU can also fail. What's the guy down in Australia, the Retro Channel? Oh, I just found my iFixit toolkit that I was looking for. It was sitting beside me the entire time. Alright. Let's open up the SNES. I know this is not exactly what you came for, but Jack says, yeah, that unfortunately yeah, I kind of knew. I could have probably told you that PPU failures are common, which is why I was not taking consolation in the mention of cap leakage. But we'll open it up because I guess it could be a failed solder joint, which would be repairable. All right. I also interestingly enough, I noticed in the thrift shop that the case was kind of yellowed funny. I attributed it to possibly two different plastics. I'm hoping it's not a sign that someone did a part swap. Okay, Retrofox says I've seen that plenty. Alright. Well, anyways, my Alright. If this really is a bad PPU, then I don't know what I'll be able to do, because if it looks like there's cap leakage, then I'll order a cap kit. I'm hoping that maybe I see a bad solder joint. Jack says, you'll be able to look at it and say, ooh, look, that's the PPU. Yeah, I will be able to tell you that it's which one's the PPU, because I think it's marked on the board. Okay, one thing I did notice, I did not feel any of the screws crack, so someone may have been in this console before. All right. Oh, that's right, there's an ejection. Wait, I thought there was an ejection button on these. That's an interlock to keep you from removing the cartridge if power's on. I didn't realize. Okay, that's neat. I didn't realize that was there. All right, so. Oh, there is an eject button. Never mind. The eject button was staring me in the face the whole time. All right, so to get to the PPU, we now need to switch bits. Because now that we're in the console, I believe it's Philips. Yeah, there's really not much to these, you're right. Well, I guess the one good thing is I'm going to swap meet. Maybe there's the opportunity I'll be able to get another SNES at a better price. That might actually work. Alright. Which of these screws do I have to remove to get the thing out? And which of these... Oh, there's bugs inside of this. Dead bugs. Alright, hold please. While I dispatch the, While I debug the unit. There we go. The unit has been debugged. Alright, so there's that, and the spring. Just says SNES. Yes. They probably weren't conductive. The thing is, the PPU and the CPU are under this shielding here. I don't think I have to remove everything to get the shield off. Because I think it's only screwed on. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Those of you that are just joining, I finally had a game so I could test my Thrift Shop SNES, and it failed testing. I mean, something somewhat resembling a Mario game showed up on the screen, but there were definitely issues that tested my patience. Yeah, I would have eventually figured that out. There we go. So now I think this shield will come off, maybe. There we go. All right, I got the shield off. All right, so now I know what revision of the board I have. And oh, now I know what they mean by 2-chip versus 1-chip. All right, so this is an SNES 2-chip. It has 2 PPU chips, which probably means only one of them is bad. Oh, Mega says I only mention it because it's fragile. Well, I grabbed it with both on both sides and tried to gently pull up on it. So this is going to be an SNES 2-chip. For some reason, I thought 2-chip meant CPU and PPU, and 1-chip meant it was like all 3 combined, but that's right. 2-chip means there's 2 PPU chips. 1-chip means 1 PPU chip that has all the hardware in 1 chip. So I think that probably explains why I'm seeing the problem I am. I think only one of these 2 is bad, but I don't know which it is, and I don't have a spare PPU chip. So I don't see any signs of cap leakage, but certainly I'll recap the board. Especially if I go through the trouble of replacing the PPU chip. Capcom says the one on the left looks weird on the bottom left corner. Might be a reflection. I don't know what the SPC 700 is, but I did remove the sound module. If that's what the SPC 700 is. Look, this is my first SNES, so please bear with me. I don't know all the technical terms for everything because I never had an SNES growing up. Oh, Mega says that's the sound chip. I was excited at the possibility of having an SNES. Yeah, Gupom says yes, just a reflection. Yeah, it looks like that particular pin is larger and gets a nice large solder blob. I wonder if that's a voltage or a ground. It's not working, Joe. So I see the graphics are corrupted. Specifically, it seems like overlays and backgrounds are corrupted. So, like, the sprites for the characters were all correct. Soccer Wrench says it's the blob pin. It conducts blob. So, I have a feeling one of the 2 PPU chips has failed. I just would have to look up the symptoms to figure it out. Gupom says, a boy and his blob would look great. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell it apart from graphical anomalies. Alright, so I'm going to have to find parts to fix my SNES. Once again, I'm going to have to buy 2 to make 1 working. It's a game I really don't like to play. Joe said, my SNES lost all color when it was only a year old but only if it ran for a while. Then eventually it just started working again. It's like it stopped generating the color burst. That's a weird problem. Alright, so I guess it's just as well I didn't go jump at buying an AV cable for this, because then I would have just been disappointed. Oh, but my N64, I still need an AV cable. What do the caps look like? They look like caps. While I will order a cap kit, I will recap it, but I don't think the caps are going to... I don't think we are going to explain away this problem with the caps, unfortunately. Because that cap does not look like it's leaked. That cap... doesn't really look like it's leaked, although there is a weird blob there. Oh, I think that's just a blob in the solder mask. Joe's asking, I wonder if one could program an RP2350 to replace a PPU. Mega says, background tile corruption is a commonly discussed issue. Yep, so it looks like I'll be, well, trying to... Alright, so okay, that cap looks a little bit suspect. Okay, that looks a little bit suspect, however... that is not... this thing has been leaking for a long time, suspect. Actually, I'm not sure that's a leak. I think that just may be a little bit of... yeah, these caps are sus, but they're not... I don't think they've leaked all over the board and caused a lot of damage. I think they're... it's time to order a cap kit and do it now. But only after I figure out what to do about the PPU. Alright, well, yeah, that's my, thrift shop SNES. I lost the thrift shop gamble. Okay, I'll, let me put the screws in a bag so that I can put it back together. Well, I can't wait to see it working again, working later, either, but it will have to go on my repair pile. Alright. Okay, so the two SNES games appear to be working. If I remember to bring them to the swap meet this weekend, I'll stop by Chris's place one way or the other, and I'll give him a test, because after all, Chris has a small collection of stuff waiting for me. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do, Chris. I was probably planning on swinging by your house one way or the other anyways. So now I think this pretty much says that, yep, I'll swing by your place one way or the other, and I'll try to remember to bring the SNES carts, and we'll give them a quick test. So what's next? Well, let me get this off the workbench, and I'm putting the screws in bag so I remember how to put it back together. Although I guess the good thing is, at least in this case, it's not like there aren't videos on the SNES. Are there packages left? No, I think I've gone through all the packages. So we are done with Wheel of Regrets. So in Wheel of Regrets, we have we had the two SNES games, and they appear to be working. We had the N64 power adapter that was supposed to be the USA version, and it was the Japanese version, so it's now upstairs in my pile of stuff that's got to go back to eBay sellers. And we had the Macintosh video card that I don't feel like pulling the 6100 over at the moment to test it, so I'll test it later. So there we go. That concludes. Well, I mean, I do have two other things I could open, but I would like to at least look at the G4 at some point. So the last two items I've actually had for a while and not opened. So video done. No. I'm not done with the live stream. I go till midnight. I'm done with Wheel of Regrets. Jack says, I'll have to buy my own regrets. Dave says, you can get those at VCF Midwest, Jack. Alright, let's see here. So, I see I have 17 viewers, and OBS doesn't show the number like. So just, like that smash button. All right, let's get the SNES off the bench. And let me see if I can't find a place to set it where I won't lose the screws. Oh, here we go. I found a box to put it in. Plus, I knocked the box over. Boo. All right. And now, if I can stop stepping on bubble wrap. Probably help if I stop dropping bubble wrap on the floor. All right, we have fresh from upstairs. Not that you can see it, because unfortunately, I can only zoom out so far, so I may have to pull Droid Cam out. We have the PowerMac G4 that I picked up in Culpeper. Focus. Okay. And, all right. Let's give it an exterior look over. So we have the classic PowerMac G4 facade. This one does have a zip drive installed. It does not look like there's a disc in the drive, so that's probably a good sign. And what do we have here? We have, let's see if I can flip the door open. Okay. Hold, please. Yeah, I'm cheating here. There we go. And we have... Oh, we got a DVD drive. Nice. Right, around the side we have the Apple logo. Still attached, we have a paint scuff that came from my front door because I didn't move it in quite far enough, and, well, I scuffed it a little bit, but that'll probably come out. Joe says graphite. We have 2 FireWire, Ethernet, 2 USB, microphone, speaker, and modem. We got a power supply. And there's the label everyone's probably wondering about. So let me see if I can't get it to focus on the label. So we have, it's a 400 megahertz if the stock processor's still in it, which I have no reason to believe it's not. So it originally shipped with 128 megabytes of RAM, a 20 gigabyte hard drive, DVD-ROM, zip drive, 56K modem, and probably the standard video card, which is probably what's in it. I can't say there's dust there. Jack says, bet the power supply is sus. Yeah. All right, and let's see if we can get it open. There we go. And it is an Aztec power supply. We have a Western Digital 40 gigabyte hard drive. So, yay, we have the hard drive. It's not the original, but it's twice as big. Oh, wait, is there another hard drive down there? No, there's not. All right. There's the loud fan. All right, so it looks like that's all plugged in still. We've got power cord. There's our modem. There's our... Ooh. There's our ticking time bomb. All right, the ticking time bomb has been removed. The date on the battery is... August 99. So, happy 26th birthday, battery. All right, there we go. Got 3 64-bit PCI slots and an AGP slot. And for anyone wondering, I think this is probably just the standard Rage video card. Yeah, there we go. Rage 128. If anyone's wondering, there you go. Droid Cam. There's our CPU. I can see we do have a void if removed sticker there, so that's probably just the Apple CPU. We do have 3 memory modules installed. All right, let's go. Ooh, one is a Viking PC100 compliant. Not sure what the capacity is from that label. Let's see here. One of them is a... Oh, and the other 2 are Centon brand. Oh, good old Centon brand. Have no idea who they are. Can we read the capacity on the label? No, we cannot. All right. And I believe, if I am looking at the board correctly, this is a gigabit Ethernet model, because I believe that's the gigabit Ethernet chip right there. I think if this was the standard AGP graphics, there would be no chip installed there. I could be mistaken, but I believe that is... Well, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it is just 10100 Ethernet. Oh, maybe this is a different... maybe I'm thinking of a different... Maybe there's more than one motherboard style. Alright, I don't see any signs of damage. So... Although the power supply is quite dusty. I guess... Alright, I guess we'll, Alright. Uh-oh. Oh, alright, so I will not be watching the link Joe put in the chat. Okay. So, we are going to test this PowerMac. So, I am going to plug in power. Alright, it has power. I might regret plugging it into power. Alright, we are going to plug in video. And I'm going to plug in keyboard. Do I think we're going to get that far to bother plugging in a keyboard? I should probably plug in a keyboard. That would require me to find a USB keyboard. Alright. Is it wobbling or indecisive focusing? It is indecisive focusing. So to make the focusing more decisive, I'll put an SNES cartridge on top of it for size comparison. And more decisive focusing. We can also put the diffused bomb on top so that everyone knows I did remove it. And let me see if I can find a USB keyboard. Those are the most elusive ones. Jack says, Jack says, near, far, near, far, near, far, near, far. Yeah, it's about what that camera wanted to do. All right. Well, there's a USB keyboard without a connector on it. Oh, there we go. It's my weird... Oh, yeah. I think it's a USB keyboard. Uh-oh, I'm about to lose the contents of that box. That would be a catastrophe. Come on. Oh. Tangled the USB connector on from this cable around. There we go. Here we go. For more decisive focusing and to trigger, well, trigger warning. All right. It's not a US keyboard, if anyone's wondering why the layout's slightly odd. It's a British keyboard. All right. Smoke test in 3, 2, 1. All right. The good news is we had a partial chime. The bad news is we had a partial chime. And then what you probably heard was a 3-beep sequence. Joe says, sad beeps. Hardware Hacker says, Jack, Discord. Sadmax asking, 3 beeps? Yes, 3 beeps. Retro Fox says, reseat the RAM, always gets loose being moved around. Yep, that was my first guess. Alright, so let me make sure oh, you know. Oh, I think we're also not in the, No, I think this machine... Never mind. That's right, I think this machine is backwards. I think they are in the correct slots. That's right, I think it always gets me... I see the numbers on the slots, J21 through J24. And I think J24 is actually the first slot. If I remember, I think they might be backwards. Alright, so I guess probably what I should do is maybe just like plug power in and turn it on and see if we get the beeps again. I don't know if this power cable's long enough. Oh, it is. There we go. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Alright. That was a very weird chime, don't you think? Well, let me close it up so I can plug in a video cable. It sounded awfully staticky and repeaty. Like it had some reverb. Okay. Power's plugged back in. Keyboard's plugged back in. Video's plugged back in. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, the power button is... Oh, the power button's stuck in. That's weird. Oh, there we go. I think I got it unstuck. Alright, let's try that again. 3, 2, 1. The onboard audio did not sound right. We do not... Assuming I plugged in the right VGA cable, which I think I did, we do not have a video signal. Let me try reset. I don't know if I can hit the reset button. That did not sound right. And I think it froze in booting, so I think something else may not be seated. My next guess would be maybe the video card. Let me unscrew. I mean, it is also possible that this Mac might have been pulled out of service due to a fault. And if that's the case, I'll blame Microsoft. For no reason. I mean, they totally could have ported Windows to PowerPC. And that would have been an abomination, so maybe it's just as well they didn't. Alright. Alright. Let's try again. Wish there was a power button on the back of the system. Alright, voltage. Is this a Mac that needs a battery to boot by chance? Alright, let's try it again. That was not the power button. That is. Alright. I think we still have a RAM issue, so let's go down to 1 stick of RAM. And how about let's go with the Viking memory. And that's only because the Viking memory is the name brand. I know it. Oh, here we go. No, we're going to go with this Centon brand because it's got SK Hynix memory on it. Because I was about to say, wait a minute, that Viking stick is MT RAM. Alright, so we are, instead of the MT RAM, we are going to use the SK Hynix RAM. I have deoxidated the slot, as well as half of my workbench. There we go. Plug the RAM back in. And oh, that was a nice healthy chime. Healthy chime, healthy chime. Hey! Probably have a bad stick of memory. Or an oxidized slot. Your computer's clock is, wow. Super duper, look at that desktop. I need to find a USB mouse. Alright, let me make sure there's nothing like of... Okay, we will not be looking into private information. Okay, nothing there that's screaming, I'm going to need to blur things later. Alright, let me find a mouse so we can go run System Profiler. Jack says, no obvious porn on the desktop. Yeah, and nothing on the desktop that's like going to... that. It doesn't look like it's going to directly point to either the former owner or, like, anything that I haven't revealed on stream already, so I think we're good. Dave says, look, it's his eBay regrets. Yes. I will just let you all wonder what I might do with that folder. Obviously not going to look in that one because that kind of scares me. Yeah, I don't want to find out that that's where they hid certain information. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Okay, so I'm plugging in a mouse, and actually, yeah, that folder there. There we go. Going straight in the trash. Because I don't. In fact, let's see here. There we go. Secure empty trash. Just so it's on the record that, yep, that folder, since that is obviously probably private, just secured trashed it. In fact, actually, that could be insurance related. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that immediately. That I think is someone's resume. Oh wait, that's a Photoshop file. Okay. Honestly, I'll probably everything on the desktop is going to get deleted, but I'm just going to go ahead so that it's on the record that I am secure erasing the items that appear to be personal, like extra personal. I should probably delete the. Because quite honestly, though, I'm probably just going to trash everything on the desktop that doesn't look like it could be a installer for something that might be in. Well, actually, no, it's probably like the factory restore contents. There we go. I'm not into. Hardware hackers asking, did you see my comment about the Macintosh TV? Yeah, I'm protecting someone's privacy. Did I think I selected secure empty trash. Hardware Hacker said my latest possible eBay regret is a Macintosh TV with matching keyboard and mouse, along with remote and with black color style writer 2200. So like the Performa style Macintosh TV and not the. Oh, yeah, that would be the Macintosh TV. Because the other thing I'm thinking of is the Apple TV. All right, so while we secure empty the trash, because, yeah, I'm protecting a complete stranger's personal information. Hey, wait a minute. We have a 500 megahertz G4. Well, that's different. Yeah, the black all-in-one. Okay. 500 megahertz. That's faster than what the label said. All right, so we have a PowerMac G4 AGP graphics. So I was incorrect in that being the gigabit chip. Apparently, maybe later AGP graphics have a different logic board that has an unpopulated chip there. Yeah, it's a 500 megahertz. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. The later AGP graphics, because I think Apple was still selling them alongside the gigabit Ethernet for a while. I think. Or maybe they just had a logic board revision that was like in preparation for having the gigabit Ethernet. I don't know. I've seen a board that has an unpopulated chip, and I think it's also a AGP graphics. Although maybe I'm forgetting about a G4 between gigabit Ethernet and AGP graphics. But it does look like, let's see here, we have the Rage 128 of 16 megabytes of RAM. Yeah. What version of OS is this? 10.3.9. Okay. Oh, okay. Jack says the gigabit Ethernet version was dual 500. 400, dual 450, and 500, dual 500 were the three configs. All right, so this is AGP graphics. The label says 400, but I'm wondering if whoever this was, maybe they upgraded it at some point. But this is really cool. It works. Yeah, I think it has Mac OS 9. Actually, oh. Oh, there we go. Startup disk. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I want to boot into 922. I think this could certainly use an OS reinstall. Yeah. Is the desktop on 922 as cluttered? That's going to be a good question. Oh. Alright, they've got a weird resolution set in Classic, so Unfortunately, my scaler is... That's why you see the color bars. No, their desktop is not cluttered. But it's running a Tech Tool Pro diagnostic check, so it's almost finished. I'm just going to let it run. Network time error. Yeah, I know. Alright, so let's go to control panels, to monitors, and let me set a resolution that my scaler will actually... Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's currently set to 1024 by 768 at 120 hertz. That's not going to work with my scaler. How about that? There we go. My scaler will probably like that. There we go. That's better. That's their 922 desktop. I don't think they ever booted into Classic. In fact, do they even have any macOS 9 applications? Oh, there we go. They got Photoshop 7. And Stuff It Standard. And Toast Titanium. Wait. Toast? I thought it was a... So I don't have to boot back into macOS 10. Okay, it is just a DVD-ROM. All right. I thought for a moment, maybe they had a USB burner. No, it's just a DVD-ROM drive, but maybe they had a USB drive. Yeah, quite clearly, given some of the documents that were on their desktop, they were doing graphics. Because that is Photoshop 7. Oh, I just got to... hold on, because I don't know... I didn't want to potentially, like, open... I saw something that indicated this might have been a business machine. So I probably will wipe and reinstall the computer so that I don't... Because I think not only do I not want to show the owner's information, but I don't want to possibly accidentally show client information because they may not like it either. But yeah, I don't see like, oh, there's no recent documents in this Photoshop, so I can go back to... Yeah, there's no recent documents. I don't think they used Photoshop 7 and macOS 9 at least. Jack says, I love the built-in zip drives, which came like a year before zip disks were obsolete. Yeah. But yeah, they definitely... Oh, they got Quark Express. but very nice. It's a working PowerMac G4 AGP graphics. Oh, but there's one thing we need to test. Oh, okay, I do not want to use this zip disk, though. That would be a bad zip disk to use, because that actually has a backup of some files on it. All right, let's see here. Do we have a... Here we go. Here's a zip disk. It is a recycled zip disk, but I'm going to insert it in the drive and see what happens. Okay. That's good. Oh, and it mounted, and it's not clicking, so we don't have click of death. And oh, it's a DOS it's a bootable zip disk with a DirectX 9 folder on it. That's really weird. So it's got a command com, an iOmega folder, Jack says, bootable, well, not on this machine. Actually, Jack, you can boot from a zip disk on a PC. Actually, you could probably boot from a zip disk on a Mac, too. Hardware Hacker says, it has Cup Bomb's favorite game. You know, the moment I format this, I'll realize why it... Let me see if iOmega Zip Tools is on here. No, it's not. Alright, let's restart back into Mac OS X and see if it's got iOmega Tools on it. Oh, iOmega drive options. Well, it was installed. Alright. Startup disk. I believe um I believe from some contextual clues I've seen, the owner of this computer either was a photographer or they were in a line of business that would have been dealing with client photographs. I will just word it that way. Which is why I'm probably going to just try to find the correct disks to wipe and reinstall this computer. Yeah, I'm not going to image this computer. I'm going to wipe this computer. It would be nice to actually find the hard drive, though. There we go. Let's just go to Applications. Nope. Doesn't look like they had iOmega zip tools installed. Alright, no iOmega zip tools. Alright, then we're just going to use disk utility. Yeah, why not? Alright, options. There we go. It's a chance to make sure the zip drive's working. Yeah. Alright, so for $10, I think I got an excellent deal. Even if all the RAM that was in it doesn't work. A 40 gig hard drive that appears to be working. 500 megahertz instead of 400. At least 256 megs of RAM, which for OS 9 is excellent. I could try this second stick of RAM. That's only 1119. I guess we can see if we can pin down which of these two sticks is the bad one. Yeah, I like it. At some point I'll take it outside and dust it out. I think the hard drive that's in it's working good too. It was probably just retired because it was old. Then Jack says, writing zeros, at least this isn't Monday night's SCSI director experience all over again. Yeah, see, we're done. We've erased the zip disk. It's now a Mac OS disk. And like, for example, we can try to copy some files. This is a Internet Explorer installer, so... Wow, did that already copy? Oh, maybe that did. That might not be very big. 4 kilobytes. Okay, I don't think that's a okay, I don't think that's a good installer. There we go. A Netscape installer. That's 53 megabytes. Yeah, don't. Hardware hackers is joking. iOmega disk director. Jack says, lol, nope. Okay. I was just going to grab something that was obviously an installer just to try to copy a file, make sure the zip drive's working. Jack says, the Mach-O binary of Netscape. I don't know if that's Navigator or Communicator. We might have to mount the disk image to see. Jack says, I don't remember there being a download labeled Mach-O. Netscape 7.2. Yep, that is definitely Netscape. Netscape 7.2. Pre-communicator, yeah. So the system requirements are macOS 10.1 or 10.2 and later. 400 megahertz or faster, G3 or G4, 256 megabytes of RAM, and 60 megabytes of free hard disk space. Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, that's a neat installer for sure. All right. Jack says it turned into bloatware when they added an email client to it. All right, so okay, so our zip drive works. That's good. All right, and it ejects nicely, so there we go. I will try to remember that has the Netscape 7.2 on it. Maybe it might behoove me to check the garden and see if optical drive functional. I will have to find a disk. I was going to see if we could get one or both of these other DIMMs to work. Then I'll attempt to get an optical disc. Jack says there seem to be more icons that are actually displaying on the desktop. Yeah. I think there's a bunch stacked up on the hard drive icon. Okay, so I have put some contact cleaner in the second RAM slot. I am going to attempt the second Centon memory module. All right. 3, 2, 1, half, a quarter, an eighth, a 16th, 32nd. I think I found the button. There it is. Okay. Non-reverbing, non-staticky, non-extra beepy chime. Just a smoke. Smike, smake, smeek. Jack's asking, Joe, is your basement on fire? I think Joe is being funny in the chat in the vein of the I like to eat apples and bananas. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, Joe. I didn't mean to get a song stuck in your head. Oh, maybe it might be a song Joe's never heard of. If you've never heard of that song, Joe, don't look it up. I don't want to get a song stuck in your head. All right. It looks like we have 512 megabytes of memory. That's good. I don't know that I have diagnostic software to be able to run Joe says, Improv 101. Mistakes are your best friend. Jack says, who needs spelling anyways? Sadmax says, well, it's certainly stuck in mine, Justin. Joe says, I know that song already, sir. All right. Well, we booted with all this RAM. I'm feeling like I'm going to push my luck. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Tech Tool Pro was in... Oh! Tech Tool Pro was installed on the macOS 9 side. Let me try install... Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try installing the third DIMM. If it works, great. Then I'll boot into macOS 9 and run Tech Tool. If it doesn't work, great. I will remove it, boot into macOS 9, and run Tech Tool. Either way, I am going to run Tech Tool with some amount of RAM. It might as well be all of it. Am I right? Because it's quite possibly the problem with the RAM is just that one or more of these DIMMs had oxidation on it. It's also possible this DIMM that has empty RAM on it, which is the Viking Components one, could be bad. All right. 3, 2, 1, button. All right. We had a chime. All right, so let me see if I can't hold the Option key down. Or what I believe is the... Oh, too late. All right, we'll boot into... Hardware Hacker says, oh! That would be a kernel panic. Okay, I am going to venture a guess that that third DIMM is bad. All right, we're going to boot without it. Well, Viking Components. Actually, I think we got... Hold on. It did a funny thing. All right, let's try again. No, I don't think the Viking Components is the one that was bad. I have a feeling it's actually the second Centon brand one. All right, so what we'll do, I will remain with the two DIMMs, and we will run, I will boot into macOS 9, we will run the Tech Tool Pro. Jack says DIMMs are way funnier than Sims. Hardware Hacker says simply the best. All right, start up disk. Jack says Viking was the good RAM. Oh, I'm actually looking at a side profile of the contacts on the Viking DIM, and there's actually something on some of the contacts. It may have been good RAM at once, but I think I need to do a more intensive DIM module cleaning, and the audio started stuttering. Oh, looky there. Well, Jack, since the tech tool thing only started during macOS 9, I'm pretty sure it's a macOS 9 program. But we have a bad memory module in the computer. Well, assuming I can find Tech Tool Pro. Oh, there's iOmega. Oh. They had Quark Express. Oh, Office View. Oh, they now have Sherlock? There we go. Got their X-Files as Quark Express. Well, that's weird. Oh, they only have the Tech Tool Protection program. That is really weird. Oh, there we go. The DIM and J23 is not compatible. So, so apparently one of the Centon memories is the bad one. Maybe the Viking one is fine. I'll I will deoxit the spot on the Viking memory that looks suspect. I'll put some deoxit on a cotton swab. while we wait for this to run. Okay, I think we can skip the virus scan. All right. So let's remove this dim. I believe it is bad. I don't know what brand of RAM is on it, but all right, the chime didn't like reverb. Okay, so this I think might be the bad dim. I don't know what brand that is, but that is possibly suspect RAM. Well, no, that's not the actual brand, but I'm calling it suspect because it doesn't. This is one of those brands. Oh, the built-in memory test has detected a problem. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Harder Hacker says I have a dim view of that module. Huh. Maybe we have a bad dim slot. All right, let's go to System Profiler. Memory. Oh, interesting. Now it's calling the DIM and J24 is not compatible. Oh, PowerMac G4 doesn't require matched pairs. A DIM is 32 bits wide, and a PowerMac G4 is a 32-bit computer. So you can put in. I mean, maybe though. I don't know. I mean, there could still be some timing problem with one of the DIMMs. All right, let's just try this Viking one. I don't know that they support interleaving. Okay, it does not like the Viking memory at all. Have I maybe completely gotten this backwards and maybe that's where we put RAM first? No. Okay. You know, there is a thought here. Oh, interesting. So, that was the one that was working for us. All right, I'll put that working one in the first slot. Or- All right, we definitely having a problem with all three of these DIMMs now. Hmm. Um, Hardware Hacker says, and just like that, Justin broke his Mac. Well, I don't know if the contents of the Mac were ever 100 were working to begin with. It was a $10 Facebook Marketplace find. It said nothing about tested or working. I guess I could. Jack says the service manual doesn't mention anything special about installing DIMMs. I mean, maybe there's corrosion on that Viking DIMM. All right, maybe there actually is something on the contacts of the Viking DIMM that maybe I transferred to this slot when I put it in. All right, well, let's try the SK Hynix or Henix or however you actually say it. Oh, there we go. It chimed now. Maybe there is something on the contacts of one of those DIMMs, and I managed to transfer it to the DIMM slot. Or we're going to get an error on boot up that there's a problem with the RAM. Oh, I think I just remembered where I might have a diagnostic disk that might work on this computer. Let me see if I can find the box. Oh, there it is. Remember that software I bought that was like a lot of software? Well, Norton Utilities wanted to enter the chat, and I told it no. All right. There's a Netscape communicator disc in the box. I say no to that too. I think well, I thought there was a Tech Tools Pro disc in the box. Maybe I was wrong. Or maybe it was in with something else. Hold on, let me look again. Your Mac link retrospect. No. Okay. Okay, I've got one other place. Sorry, bubble wrap. Okay, maybe I don't actually have a Tech Tools Pro disc. I thought I got one in something, but all right. So, all right. Looks like this computer might be working. Yeah, I guess I might either find the... Oh, I just realized. Maybe I... Working more than some, at least. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could, if you'll hold on a moment, I will tell you what the name of the song is. we're back. And yes, I put it in the chat, but that is in the YouTube audio library. Ipanema Daydream by Bird Creek. Alright, well, I think I can say one thing. I am tired, Nix, right now, so I guess we're going to shut down this computer here. And that's where we're going to call it. Whoops, I forgot to disarm the video. Oh, well. So, we had Wheel of Regrets. There were regrets. We had two SNES games that probably work, along with an SNES that doesn't work. Said Max, laughing at my disarm the video. Yeah. So, two SNES games that probably work, an SNES from thrifting that doesn't work. Oh, thank you, Hardware Hacker, for the $1.99 super chat. Because, thank you. So, we'll have further troubleshooting on that SNES. We had an N64 power adapter that was for the wrong region. That one will go back to the seller. And we had, the RAM card that I'll test later because I'm not pulling my 6100 out to test this. But I don't see why it would be bad, but I think I have another one of these somewhere I also need to test that I bought because it had VRAM on it. In fact, actually, I think some of this VRAM is 70 nanoseconds. That's really nice. Excellent. Anyways. Oh. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I was being too nice. I didn't want you to have to hunt for it because sometimes the YouTube audio library can make it hard to actually find the song. Sometimes it's like they put them in an order of they want you to use it in, but it should be in there somewhere. Oh, thank you, Dave, a $10 super chat to buy more RAM. Eep. Well, I think this weekend I will be at a swap meet where there will probably be RAM available, so I will buy some RAM for the system. I'm sure I'll pick up a few things from the swap meet. But anyways, yes, the swap meet again is let me go to Tinker Different. I will copy and paste the link. I realize some of you are not going to be in the area, but because I want the swap meet to be as successful as possible. And word of mouth is sometimes how you've got to announce it. All right, let's see here. We do have the, so it is the, oh, hold on. There we go. Let me copy it to the chat here. Oh, thank you, Hardware Hacker, for a 1999 super chat. But better, more RAM. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I'll pick up some RAM at the. Jack says so many super chats. Yes. Thanks, autocorrect, because yeah, it wasn't super chats in the first message. Well, I mean, one's orange on my screen and one's yellow on my screen, so quite honestly, they could be super heats, but they're super chats. Anyways, yes, I'll pick up some RAM at the Retro Bits and Bytes swap meet at the Dulles South Recreation and Community Center in South Riding, Virginia. I put the Tinker Different link in the chat. If you want to get the address, it'll be 1:30 to 6 on Sunday. There is a nominal admission cost of $5. Kids under 10 are free. That admission cost does include a beverage and a raffle ticket for a Sony Vaio system. And there are going to be vendors. I don't know what the vendors are going to have for sale. I am one of the vendors. Jack says, it's only a 13-hour drive for me. Yes, well, but I don't know who's watching and lurking, and they may be closer, so that's why I'm announcing it. So, yep, Swap Meet begins at 1:30 p.m. sharp. If you are in the area and considering going, show up at 1:30 because the good stuff will go. I will try to join Dave's stream while I'm there to kind of give folks an idea of what the Swap Meet's like. In fact, if I get set up soon enough, I will try to walk around before 1:30. But I don't know what cellular signals are like at the venue, and last time I tried to join the Talk Studio from my phone, I couldn't connect. So, although that may have been an issue on my end and not Talk Studio. So I will try to join. Hopefully there's a good cell signal and at least give you all an idea of what the Swap Meet's like. But anyways, I think I'll at least see one person that's been in the chat tonight there. But anyways, so I will be there. I've got stuff to sell. And, well, inevitably, I will buy some more RAM for this PowerMac. I might also, at some point this weekend, or maybe tomorrow night, I might set a PC up to try to test these DIMMs in a PC. Maybe make a video on it. I can't make any promises. My video production queue is, like, backed up to unbelievable levels. We'll see. If I can make a video from it, I will. Because I've got, like, so many videos I'm trying to work on, and there's, like, reasons why all of them haven't come out yet. Swap Meet Regret, says Hardware Hacker. Yeah. If I can find... Yeah, I think on my list of things I would like to find, some RAM for this PowerMac will definitely be at the top of the list. The, maybe an SNES and AV cable for Nintendo. Jack says, I have no video production queue, so that's something in my favor. Yeah, Dave says, great stream. All right, but anyways, so don't forget to smash that like button if you like it when I reveal the ups and downs of eBay buying and marketplace buying and attempt to get computers to cooperate. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Hardware Hacker says, my queue is full, but my studio isn't ready for prime time. Yes, I feel your pain. Although, well, I guess I've been trying to set up a studio and, well, I'm trying to produce things even without that, and yeah, production issues. Yeah, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. I'll be at the Swap Meet Sunday afternoon. I will try to join Dave's stream from there. Next week, Monday, I will probably be looking at the 2SI. I'm going to try not to pick up so much stuff from the Swap Meet that it merits its own stream, because I would like to look at the 2SI. And I want to do that on the 4-hour stream. So if I do pick up enough that it merits its own stream, we will look at that Thursday. I know I will I know the suspense will be suspenseful. Sorry, it's late. I can't think of a better word, but I do have the cap kit from Console 5. I have a part from Mauser for it. Yeah, the hardware hacker says the 11SI. Yeah, if it doesn't act up, I'm going to start calling it different names. 11SI is appropriate. It'd be how the game show announcer might announce it. Anyways, so I think I'm going to look at the 2SI on Monday because it's the 4-hour stream. If I have anything of significance, I will cue it for Thursday. If I only have a few things to show off, then we'll do that at the beginning of the stream Monday. But I kind of like to get some work done on the 2SI and get it back together. And then we'll see where it goes. If I don't have anything of significance from the weekend, then Thursday's stream will probably be probably the Mac SE. Because the 2SI and the Mac SE are two computers that I would like to get put back together. But we'll see. We'll see how the weekend goes before I commit to stone. And of course, I always reserve the right to change the idea because I might think of something better. But at the moment, I'd really like to work on the 2SI on Monday. So that's probably what we'll look at. So anyways, Jax says, so the Apple III is really the Apple 111. I couldn't tell you that. It would be interesting to hear how the announcer would announce it. And our contestant has won the Apple III home computer, the first computer that you drop to fix technical problems. The Apple III from the creative minds at Apple. I don't know how you'd announce that. Yeah, I doubt they'd announce it like that. But anyways, with that, I think because it's starting to get late and I do have to work tomorrow, I will go ahead and call this stream to an end. I'd like to thank you all for joining me, hanging out in the chat, being cool, moral support, and with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you here next time. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.